We continue this afternoon's press conference. We have head coach Pascal Jansen. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. Starting with Christian.
Coach, in terms of coming into this match, it can be easy for guys to get lost in how important it can be with, home field advantage on the line and looking towards the playoffs. What do you do in this lead up to kind of keep everyone focused and not get too ahead of themselves when you have a match day like this?
No, just do what we normally do. It's funny that you asked because today we had our review looking back at the last stretch of games. Everybody's back in the door in the house from the national team duties. And this was one of the items that we talked about. And for us, the only thing on our mind now is Seattle and nothing else. And that's how we've been working all season. So nothing's changed.
With that being said, I will ask a little bit of a future question here in terms of playoffs and the importance of getting home field. I understand this is going to be your first time going through that with the MLS format, but I'm curious what your view on the subject is and just how important it will be for you guys as a team with home field, if you can get home field advantage even just in the first round.
Yeah, those are the questions with if and when and looking ahead. But like I said to you just now, my focus is on Seattle and not on the playoffs. So you'll have to come back next week.
Fair enough.
People were asking about Seattle directly, as you had several players that were playing with the national teams, and I don't know how deeply you go into watching the games that they play and their performances, but also how they're utilized on national teams. If it may be different from the way that you utilize them. Is there anything to be learned from that as far as seeing how a player might be used differently than the way you use them here, if that's the case?
To answer the first part of your question, I do watch the game, so I've seen all the guys play their matches. We're also in contact with the guys when they're on the road with the national team. And it's always interesting to see them play with the national team because sometimes you get surprised also with certain behavior or anything that is task-wise given to them in the games they play for the national team. But overall, I'm very happy to see the things that I know my players can do and have seen them before in training or in our games. So no surprises until now.
Well, you said that there was something that you saw them do. Was there anything in particular that you saw in these games that sort of stood out to you?
Well, I was happy with their performances in general, also because they came back healthy, which is also very important considering the fact that, for instance, Aiden has played 60 games now in one season. So when I watched the game against the US, it was good to see him compete with Matt and give him a little banter when he comes back in the building that he is the one who lost that game. But yeah, in general, it's good to see my guys play, but no surprises all over. The one I like to mention is Tico Alonso. To see him score twice for his country again is important for Costa Rica, but also important for us having a sharp and ready Tico come back into our team again.
And I prefaced everything by saying to ask about Seattle. So what are the keys for the game on Saturday?
For us, mainly, we're coming back from a loss, a tough match away against Philly, where we weren't as clinical as before. So for us, the main thing is bouncing back from a bad result, like we always try to do once we do have a match like the match against Philly, and respect the qualities that they have, because even though they're in a place in their league, they can't go up, they can't go down a place. I've seen them play some good matches, so I think it will be a very competitive game, and we have to make sure that we're ready to compete again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Question?
Coach, I just wanted to circle back to you mentioned.
Not the playoffs, right?
No, it's playoffs. You mentioned Matt and Aiden and kind of the friendly banter. I'm curious, for a coach, how fun is it to see that when you have two guys get the chance to play each other in an international game like that? And is there a way to kind of harness that friendly banter and friendly rivalry and use that, especially with the quick turnaround like you guys have matched so quickly after that game like that?
Yeah, believe me, we used it this morning in the review. Also made some comments on the tackles there that were made on Jimmy Sands, who is
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not a player in our dressing room anymore, but we all know him, of course. So we were giving him a little trouble on those moments. But it's good to see them play both at a high level, and even though it was a friendly game, at that level, it's never going to be a friendly game, and it wasn't. So it was good to see them both and compete at a high level, and it also saves me watching another match because it's two players in one match.
Onto the Zoom, we'll go with Anthony.
Hey, coach. Obviously you guys are in the playoffs, but at the same time, you guys would like to build momentum heading in. What's the message to the team to keep the proper mindset going into this final game of the season?
Mm-hmm. The main thing is what I mentioned to your colleague just now is take it game by game, and that's something we've done all season. So that's not going to change going into the Seattle game. For us, we're on 56 points, so we can gain another 3, which gives us an end result for 59 overall in the season, which is pretty decent. So we have our own focus going forward to this game, and there will be no energy lost in thinking about what happens during the playoffs because it's Seattle first and only.
Michael?
Pascal, it's Mike Ander from Blue City Radio. Thanks for the time.
Hi, Michael.
With the international breaks, you have a young roster. How much do you trust the players if you give them extra time off, or how much do you have to keep them really structured as far as making sure they're keeping their fitness routines?
Well, that's also something that we've emphasized throughout the season. The maturity in the group has gone to a level that we trust our players when we do give them time off. We obviously give them programs for the few days that they're out of the building, and we monitor them closely. And once they get back into the building, they know from the first session that will take place, they have to show level and be there immediately and be engaged. And if something like that is disturbed or not at a good level, it might change the decisions I will make in the future. And so far, I haven't been disappointed because the guys have been very professional about it, which allows us to train the way we do and sometimes give them a little breather.
Javier?
Hey, Coach, Javier, City Boys.
Hi, Javier.
Hey, so your game is getting home field advantage is also dependent on the Charlotte result. So I guess my question to you is, are you going to be paying attention to that Charlotte result throughout your game? Do you use that as halftime motivation to the players?
No, not 1 second. Not 1 second. Our focus is on our own game, and we'll see once the game is finished what the other team has done, and take care of business after that.
Chris?
Hey, Pascal, Chris Campbell from the outfield. Mid-season, you bring on Nico Fernandez Mercal, and there were a lot of thoughts about where he would play. Here we are now at the end of the regular season. You have 38-year-old Max Morales. You have Ojeda and Julian Fernandez, who have made large strides throughout the year. And then also you have Hannes Wolf. How have you seen this attacking group of players proceed through this year, and how do you look to utilize kind of how they've come together both individually and as a group heading into the playoffs and into Seattle?
Also into Seattle. Well, in general, I would like to say it's that's always one of the challenges that comes along with being a coach with such a talented attacking line that I can choose from. The way we play sometimes allows us to play like 4 or maybe even 5 of them at once. Sometimes it's only 3, but mainly it's around 4 players every game that can start, which also means you have to disappoint a few players, and that keeps the competition in the dressing room very healthy. The younger ones like Agu and Juli have so much potential. Their outcome has grown throughout the season, especially with Agustin. But you see, Hannes is one of the guys that is in double digits this season. Nico, enough said, he's one of our DPs and came in and made impact instantly. And Alonso is our number 9. But if you see them train throughout the week, they are so competitive, and eager to show what they're capable of doing, and that's what we look for, because you see their involvement throughout the season has been quite well.
Final one, we'll go with Christian.
Hi, Coach. Seattle are fifth in the Western Conference. You are fifth in the Eastern Conference. So on paper, it would seem a close affair. How can playing a Western Conference team this close to the playoffs help your preparations?
Well, for us, our focus is achieving a good result for our standings in the Eastern Conference. So that's our main focus. Once that game is played, then we'll look ahead and see what's ahead of us, and that's going to be the playoffs, obviously. But for us, the Seattle game is trying to finish the regular season as best as we can, and hopefully then get ourselves in a good position going forward for the playoffs.
Great. Thank you, everybody.